Hi friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today's video is another use it or lose it style video where I'm pulling out products from my collection that maybe I haven't used in a while, maybe I'm feeling unsure about, and I'm using them again so I can decide is this something I want to keep or maybe it's time to pass it on to one of my friends who will enjoy it more. I did one of these videos about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I really enjoyed it. You guys seem to enjoy it as well, so I figured I would do another one. I initially got this video idea from my friend Linda from Glitter Fallout. I'll have her channel down below for you. And yeah, we're just gonna hop to it, play with some old makeup, play with some throwbacks, chit chat. You're gonna watch me pick out these products as well. It's gonna be so fun. As far as my accessories go, before we jump into it, this is just an Ana Luisa necklace. This is an Ana Luisa snake ring. And I don't know where these earrings from. They were a gift. But yeah, anyways, let's just hop in, pick out some products, play with some things, and then at the end, we will figure out if I'm gonna lose anything. Welcome to my cabinets. I'm gonna go through and pick out what I'm gonna use today for this use it or lose it. Some are things that are potentially on the chopping block that I don't need to keep around anymore. Some things are just things that I don't have something in that category that's on the chopping block, so I'm just using it for the sake of using it. Let's just get started. This is my complexion section. I think for primer today, I want to go in with my What's Up Beauty Positivity. I just haven't used this one in a while. I remember it being just lightweight and nourishing, but I don't remember having very strong feelings either way about it. Like, it was fine. I didn't feel negative, but I feel like I should give it another whirl and see if it's worth keeping around. For foundation, this one's actually newer. This is a complexion stick technically, so it could be for foundation, concealer, or like contour, depending on the shade you use. I tried this a couple months ago, and I remember just feeling like it was kind of unremarkable for me. Maybe even leaning a little dry, which isn't my favorite thing in the world. So I want to give this one another whirl, just kind of play around with it, see how I feel, decide if this is something even worth keeping around in my drawer here. For concealer, I don't really have one that's on the chopping block, so I'm just going to keep using my one that's almost gone. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, so just gonna keep using this one. For powder though, similar thoughts to the Ilia. This is the What's Up Beauty Pressed Powder. And again, I just remember feeling like this is fine. It's not anything revolutionary, but it wasn't bad. So I feel like I just want to use it again and kind of get a feel for like, is this something I really need to keep? Or can I let this one just go to somebody else who will appreciate it more? For bronzer, I also don't really have one that's on the chopping block, so I'm gonna use this very used Rare Beauty one that I'm working on trying to finish because it only has a little bit left. So this is in Power Boost, this cream bronzer stick. I actually want to throw this liquid highlighter from Urban Decay in. It's in the shade Silver Lake. I have a couple of these that I've either used as liquid highlighters or mixed in with foundation, but I haven't used it in like month and a half or so, and I feel like I'm already starting to forget how I feel about this, so I feel like I want to play with it again. Not necessarily on the chopping block, just something I feel like I want to get more use out of. Moving over to my second drawer of things. I have some cream and liquid blushes here. I also have some cream and liquid blushes down here. What do I want to use today? You know, I'm feeling something kind of browny. Nutmeg from Cosmic Brushes. I haven't used this one in a minute. I remember really liking this though, so again, I don't know if this one's necessarily on the chopping block or if it's just that I haven't used it in a while and I want to. We'll see. I told you it's kind of a mix in this video, like things that are on the chopping block and things that aren't. I don't really have any blushes that I'm feeling uncertain about at this moment. Back to this side for some powder blushes. This is one that I don't necessarily think I have a problem with. It's in the shade Bronze Star from Sigma. It's a glowy blush, and I think I really like these, but I feel like I haven't used my Sigma powder blushes in a while, so let's bring Bronze Star in the mix, see how I'm still feeling about it. Moving up into highlighters now. Honestly, maybe my Nabla one in the shade Ozone. I've had this for a few years, like literally probably 3 or 4 years. And I do use it from time to time, and I keep it around at the end of every year because it is pretty. But I feel like I need to go into it again, just really deciding if this is something that like is a long-term I need to keep forever sort of highlighter. It also is getting kind of old, so I feel like it's probably a good time to play with it again, see how I feel, revisit it. I think that's it for my main base products. I think for setting spray, I'll just use this one that I'm working on finishing, my Milk Hydro Grip, one of my favorites. There's nothing being doubted about this one. I do, however, need a palette still, and I've been wanting to revisit this one for a minute, the Okavango Safari from Nomad. I just haven't played with this one, I don't think really since it came out, so I feel like this is one I should pull out, revisit. I do love the earthy vibe, so I need to see how I'm still feeling, seeing if this one is one that needs to stay on my shelf, you know? I lied back in the case because I realized I need to pick a lip. I haven't been visiting my Fantasy Cosmetica ones as much as I probably should. And I don't think these are on the chopping block, but I feel like I should just play with them again just to see for sure. Thinking Berried will be a good pick because I do like a brownie sort of tone. This is like a bricky brownie reddish sort of shade, and I think it'll go really nicely with the Nomad palette, but I might switch to a different shade later. We'll just see. And then in this drawer of my filming desk, I mean, my brow products stay the same always, so I'll just throw these out. Eye primer, glitter primer, freckle product, that's normal. And also my mascara, and I'll just throw on a pair of lashes. None of those are on the chopping block. Those are just things I need to use. I could actively bring a glitter gel in the mix. This one is from Lethal. It's in the shade Infrared. It's really pretty. I don't know if this is the color I'll stick with. I do have a few others over here, but something is drawing me into this one. We'll see how this one goes. I need to see if it's still good too. My Lethal ones seem to last a really long time. I've had other brands where the gel dries out like within the year. These ones have still like managed to stay creamy thus far. I mean, we will see today. And let's see, do I have any lip pencils that I'm feeling unsure about? I don't think I do actually. I'll just pull out this Dede Signature one again. This one's in the shade Chestnut, still fairly new. It's a pretty standard, just like wooden pencil, but I feel like I should get more use out of it. What are you doing out of your spot? Here's the quickie overview of the things that I'm gonna use today, minus my like brows and primers and stuff like that. All the main makeup. Again, some of these may be on the chopping block. Some of these are just things I wanna use. But let's get into the look. Okay, friends, hi. Let's get into this video. I'm gonna start by priming with my What's Up Beauty Positivity. I think like I mentioned when I was picking out these products, I remember this being just very nourishing, which I'm already feeling that way as I'm working it in. But I have found that I'm not actively reaching for this one. I just have other ones that I deem as favorites. Like I feel like I reach for my Milk Makeup Hydro Grip or my Glossier Future Dew the most. But figured I should use this one again, see how I'm feeling about it. I do like how just like nourishing this feels. I don't really have another primer that feels quite like this. The Glossier Future Dew still does feel very glowy, nourishing, but it's more glowy than it is like just moisturizing. This one just feels mostly moisturizing, which honestly is really nice on a dry day. And I feel like I've had kind of dry skin lately, so that's kind of nice. I actually am happy I pulled that out again because it is a really pretty primer. I'm gonna work on my brows while that sinks in before I go in with my foundation and stuff. Also, really quick, I feel like I have to shout out my nails. Look how cute. This polish is Dreamscape from Clionadh, and then I just stuck these little nail stickers from the Lethal Cosmetics 2-Up collection from years ago all over them, and I love them. It's so fun. I feel like it's summery and chaotic and so cute. So I'm just going in with my Milk Makeup Kush Fiber Brow Gel, just running this through, adding some fluff, some hold, some tint, getting them kind of shaped how I want them to. How are you doing, by the way? I'm just getting ready for the day myself. I'm excited to be playing with some older stuff, possibly declutter stuff. We'll see how it goes today. Maybe all of these will remain hits. We'll see. Now I'm just gonna take my NYX Espresso brow pen. I actually might need to pick up a replacement of this soon. I think it's getting low, and this is my last one, so I might need to replace it. But I'm just kind of lightly drawing some brow strokes to fill in some gaps now that the brow gel's done. So next, going in with my Ilia complexion stick. Mine is in the shade 1N. I'm just gonna draw some stripes on my face and blend it out. I remember my impression of this. I did try it a few times, probably like 4 or 5 times, maybe even for a full week. I just felt like it was unremarkable. So I'm curious if I will still feel that way. I'm gonna blend it out with my F48 brush from Sigma. Like, it didn't necessarily look bad, but I just didn't feel like it did anything so fantastic that I felt the need to prioritize continuing using it. It's definitely more of a light, maybe medium buildable if I were to really build it up and add more, which is fine. I don't need intense coverage. I don't like intense coverage. Even this little blemish, I'll just use some concealer to hide it a little bit. But I don't need to look airbrushed perfection. That's not real life, that's not real skin. I mean, it does blend out fairly nicely, But again, I'm just not wowed by it. I mean, honestly, it looks a little dry in some spots. Like, it doesn't feel dry when I'm blending it out, but I feel like the look of it just isn't my favorite. I don't know. I feel like maybe this just isn't the stick for me. It's not the product for me. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to concealer now. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo. Just gonna target a little bit under my eyes. That blemish. I feel like my skin even looks kind of pilly in some spots from that stick. So we're off to a great start. It's always a great sign when like the first step of your makeup routine is going bad. I'm just gonna blend this concealer out with my Real Technique sponge. I love this concealer. There's no qualms here. I'm almost done with it. I feel like really within the next week or two, it's probably gonna be finished. I'm getting pretty close to the end. I feel like this concealer pretty much always just looks good. It just looks very natural. Hydrating, but not like luminous or anything. It just looks very, I don't know, like natural hydrating kind of. I mean, it is called the Hydrating Camo Concealer, so I would hope so. I feel like adding that little bit of concealer actually made me look a little bit better, so that's nice. I'm gonna add a little bit of my liquid highlighter before I go in with any other cream products. This is Silver Lake from Urban Decay. I'm just gonna actually just kind of squirt it right on top of my cheekbones. And then I'm just gonna take my same sponge and just kind of blend it in. It's just gonna add a little bit of extra glow. It's gonna kind of sit under my products. I feel like this is my favorite way to use liquid highlighter, just to kind of add a little something extra to my base. So I feel like when I use liquid highlighter just as my highlighter, I'm never satisfied enough. Like, it just doesn't do enough. But for just enhancing my actual base, I love it. Or on a day where I'm wearing basically no makeup, I do like a liquid highlighter because I feel like it just makes me look more alive. Yeah, I do really like that. Wow, I feel like the difference between just that complexion stick versus adding the concealer and liquid highlighter made a world of a difference. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's how I feel. Going in with my almost finished bronzer stick from Rare Beauty. This is Power Boost. Just gonna run some of this along my cheekbones. Usually my bangs are down, so I guess I'll hit up my forehead today. Nose. This is a very warm bronzer, but I feel like since I'm going into like summer anyway, I know it's still spring, but it's basically summer here in Florida, I feel like it works. I'm also going to be doing a very warm look today on my eyes, so I feel like it's all just going to flow together nicely. I'm just blending out with this little brush from the Lethal and Dexter collection. It's funny, like this used to be one of my top favorite bronzer sticks, but I don't know. I feel like maybe it is a tad warm. And I don't even think this was the warmer one. I used to have another one too. I think it was Happy Soul. Pretty sure that one was even warmer. But I feel like once I have all my other products on my face, it ends up looking really nice. It does blend into the skin really, really beautifully. Nothing's worse than using like a cream, like blusher bronzer, and it like tugs and skips. This one blends very nicely. And then I usually just tap over certain areas with my sponge to help press it into the skin even more. Help it all look very seamless. I definitely go through phases though. Like sometimes I do want more of the warmer, sunny look. Sometimes I just want like more of a natural, just shaded sort of look. I guess that's the difference between bronzer and contour, right? Just kind of depends on my mood. I like a variety of things, I suppose. So now I think I want to go ahead and go in with my powder. I'll do my cream blush after. Maybe I'll add more powder later. But I'm going to go in with the What's Up Beauty pressed powder. Mine's in the shade Light. I'm going to start with a powder puff. This is from Singe Beauty. Riku has the zoomies like crazy. So if you hear just chaos in the background, that is him. I'm just pressing this powder underneath my eye. I really wanted to use this powder in two ways so I can get another feel for it. I wanted to use it in more of a concentrated way with the powder puff, and then I also want to use more of a fluffy brush to set the rest of my face, just to kind of use it in different ways. I tend to gravitate toward a loose powder under my eyes, and then I'll use like a glowy pressed powder for the rest of my face. I do like to really press it around my mouth and chin area, places where I crease from talking and being expressional, you know. Do a little bit in between my eyebrows onto my forehead, just a little bit. I mean, so far it looks nice. I do feel like it looks very like lightweight, but it is a bit, I don't know how I feel. Let's keep going. I'm just gonna use this big Fantasy Cosmetica brush just to lightly dust some more around the perimeters of my face. continue getting a feel for this before I start going in with my blush and stuff. I will say, so far I feel like this has been turned around a good bit, this look at least, because we were not off to a good start by itself. But I feel like it's coming together nicely. I mean, I do feel like it set me down nicely. I will say I don't love this all over my face. I do prefer, again, a little bit more of a glow, and I feel very just like matte right now, which isn't my favorite thing, but I do feel like it did perform well. And something like this is nice to like travel with. My perfect example would be like if I'm staying the night at a friend's house to go to like the theme parks the next day, and I know I'm not gonna wear a lot of makeup, but I maybe want some concealer. That would be the perfect thing to just like pop under my eyes to add a little extra something. But I don't know, this just isn't my favorite type of product to use. Like I said, I like a loose powder and then a glowy pressed powder. So maybe this just isn't my perfect thing. I don't think it looks bad, but I just don't think it's me. I actually need a lip balm. This is from City Beauty. This is the like overnight lip treatment. But I break the rules and I use it during the day too. So for blush, let's start with the cream, the Nutmeg Cream Blush from Cosmic Brushes. I'm gonna use my Sigma F43 brush. I'm just dipping in a tiny, tiny bit because I remember this being very pigmented. I haven't used this in a little while. And I'll just slowly add more as necessary. I do like that color. Just like that warm, rusty brown. I think that looks nice. Hello, Wanda and Riku. Are you guys playing chase? They just bounded in here. Like they own the place. They kind of do. They might as well. I do really like this blush. It's really, really pretty. Very pigmented, so I'm just using the tiniest hand and building it up slowly, which I do like a pigmented blush, don't get me wrong. I just didn't want it to get overkill. Add a little bit across my nose as well. And then for powder, I'm gonna go in with Bronze Star from Sigma. I'm just gonna use this Chokehold Cosmetics brush, tap some of that off, and just lightly start dusting on top. This is a very like rosy, bronzy sort of color, and I thought it would go with that nutmeg shade nicely. I am liking the glow that I'm getting because I was feeling the need for it with how matte my base was looking. A little across the nose as well, just for a little extra something. Oh, I like that color that's all coming through. I think that's really, really pretty. Moving on to fake freckles now. The Nabla Freckle Pen is what I'm gonna go in with. I'm just gonna add a couple of cuties. I think I want a lot of focus just like on the nose and then fanning out. This is never on the chopping block. I love this product. I actually think I'm gonna need more of it soon. I think I'm getting a little low. Moving on to highlighter, going in with that Nabla highlighter in the shade Ozone. Just a very nice kind of soft, glossy, but not shimmery sort of glow. Ooh, that is really pretty, isn't it? I'm now remembering why I keep this one around. It's just such a soft, smooth, pretty glow. This is one of those highlighters where like today, for instance, I can kind of add this to all different points in my face. Like I can add a little bit to like my forehead, my chin, and I'm gonna have that really nice glow back, but I'm not gonna feel like I'm just covered in glitter, which I do like to be covered in glitter, don't get me wrong. But wow, that made a world of a difference, didn't it? I'm gonna add some to my shoulders. Why not? I never do that stuff. Give Jack Skellington a little glow over here. Mario can get in on this action too. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with how my base is looking right now. I'm gonna spray with my Milk Makeup Hydro Grip and we'll move on to the eyes. Okay, moving on to the eyes. I want something just very like warm and smoky with the Okavango Safari. I'm feeling just very warm, very smoky. Like I'm probably gonna go from like these browns all over the lid into like these, into the yellow. Like I just want very warm, very smoky. I'm gonna start by priming with my Sigma eyeshadow base in Ignites. I'm just gonna smear this on and blend it out. This one I'm really hoping I still love as much as I did when I first used it. I really don't know why I haven't reached for it again. I mean, I guess it's just because I try a plethora of eyeshadow palettes. So sometimes things get pushed to the back burner a little bit, but I feel like this one deserves another spotlight moment. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start with Honkin' Hippos. This one I'm actually just gonna press all over my lid using my Sigma E25 for this. And I'm just gonna stamp this across my lid. I am gonna layer a shimmer over this at the end, but I'm gonna start by just placing this down across my eye first. Just kind of fanning it out a little bit. I'm not bringing it out too far or up too high. I'm keeping it very concentrated to like my mobile eyelid, the part that moves around. really even a little bit lower than that because I'm not taking it quite up into this area either. I also want to go ahead while I'm doing this and start working on the lower lash line. So I'm going to use this Gen C pencil in the shade Milano. It's just like a dark brown. So I'm just going to run this all up in my waterline and drag it down a little bit so that I can start also copying what I do on the upper on the lower. Also, I sprayed so much of that Milk Makeup spray, and I feel like between that Nabla highlighter and the setting spray, there would never be a question that I was ever too matte today. I am so dewy now and I love it. I'm gonna take that same Honking Hippo shade on this little Blend Bunny brush. This is a B3. And I'm just gonna lightly smoke some of this shadow on top of that eye pencil that I just laid down. Not doing anything crazy yet. We still have lots more colors to incorporate. So to start blending it out, let's take Pack of Wild Dogs. I'm gonna use this little Simply Posh brush. And I'm gonna run this like kind of a little bit on top of what I just did, but like kind of going along the edge a little bit and tucking this just a little bit deeper in that crease, going a little bit higher, using very, very light pressure though. I have 2 more shadows I want to incorporate in this blend, so little motions, little bits at a time, that's gonna help get us there the best. I'm gonna do the same on that lower lash line. Again, keeping it still fairly tight. I'm not dragging this down super far. So now I want to take Elusive Leopards, this soft orange shade. I'm going to take this slightly larger, slightly fluffier brush from Simply Posh. And I'm going to start running this kind of directly in the crease, fluffing at the edge of where that other shade ended. Kind of doing the same down here, going a little bit more fluffy with this, just really blowing and blending everything out. Because essentially I'm gonna have that dark brown shimmer all over the lid, so I really want this gradient of these other warm shades blending out and creating a really nice base for that shimmer to blend into. And for my final shade, I'm gonna take this beautiful mustardy yellow. Never get sick of a mustard yellow. This is an old Kaleidos S2 brush, and I'm gonna fluff this very lightly along the very outer perimeter of everything that I've done, just to add in that extra element of warmth, that tiny pop of yellow. Really, really am liking this. And so far the quality is just the same wonderful Nomad quality as far as the mattes go. Obviously I haven't dipped into a shimmer yet, but so far this palette is holding up great. And I'm kind of like, why have I not picked this up again sooner? It's so pretty. I am a sucker for earthy tones though. I think it's so good. So I'm gonna take Mighty Buffaloes now, that shimmery brown. Just like a nice classic sort of shimmer. No tricks, no weird multi-chromes, which I do love a multi-chrome, but sometimes just like a pretty metallic is all you really need. And I am really liking that for this look. I go in with just a couple of my previous brushes. Just want to make sure everything is flowing nicely. For the inner corner, I was kind of thinking Nile Crocodiles might be cool. Let's find out. I'm just going to use this little Game Beauty brush. Just going to pop a little of this in here. I think this is a gorgeous palette, like a really pretty, just earthy vibe. I like the animal theming. It's just very cute. I feel like this is one of the palettes of theirs that kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but she is pretty great. Now let's add one more touch of weirdness. Let's add in that Lethal Cosmetics gel in the shade Infrared, provided it's still creamy. Oh yeah, she's still magnificent. I'm actually gonna take that pencil brush from earlier. I just wiped it off first. Then just grabbing a little bit of that product. Oh, actually, I feel like I have too much. A little goes a long way with this stuff. Really tiny amount. I just want to add a little bit to this front little pocket of my inner corner, lower lash line sort of area. Right down here, just for some extra sparklage. So I added just like a tiny, tiny bit, but I feel like that slight reflect is exactly what I was looking for. I could have gone much more heavy-handed with it, but I didn't really want it to be too much. I'm really liking the overall vibe of this look. Threw on my lashes. I believe these are the Lin's Makeup Looks and Blend Bunny lashes. They're on their last leg, but I feel like I have a few more uses out of them. I love this look. It's so just like warm and glowy. It's so pretty. And now let's move on to the lip. I'm gonna start with that chestnut pencil from Dede Signature. I'm just gonna kind of line and lightly fill in a little bit. I just love a good brown lip. It's my favorite. You guys know what I'm about to say. Everyone looks good in a brown lip. I encourage all of you to wear a brown lip. Now let's take that Berried lipstick from Fantasy Cosmetica. Oh yes, just like a nice warm brown. So pretty. Oh, and these lipsticks are so creamy too. I feel like the Fantasy Cosmetica lipsticks are very underrated, honestly. They're so creamy, so pretty, so comfy, and just beautiful. And I love the way this reddish brown lipstick kind of flows with that more just brown pencil. That's just such a good combo. Thanks so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun. I really like how this look turned out. I just love how glowy and warm it all is. It's so pretty. I feel like it's one of those looks where like it's definitely borderline summer, but I'm craving fall. As far as the things that were kind of up to determination for the whole use it or lose it, only 2 things I think I'm gonna give away to friends. First being the Ilia complexion stick. I just feel like it's not for me. I feel like it ends up just looking a little too dry, a little too flat. I feel like for me on my skin, it just looks a little, I don't know, not great. Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever tried, don't get me wrong, but it definitely doesn't thrill me, and I would be totally content never using it again. And then also the What's Up Beauty Wind Dancer pressed powder. This one really is not a bad product. I feel like it looked good. I just feel like I'm not the person to use just like a pressed powder like this. I think it's just not for me. As I've already mentioned, I feel like I just like a loose powder for the under eyes and then a glowy pressed powder for the rest of my face. I just so rarely reach for something like this. I just don't think it's my perfect type of product, and that's okay. But everything else that I revisited, I had a great time with. I'm like so enamored by how pretty that highlighter is. I haven't used it in a while and I just can't believe how beautiful. Not that I need to buy anything new, but I have had my eye on their like glowy blushes and bronzers for a long time, and seeing this highlighter again in action, it's making me want to maybe revisit one of those at some point. Been on my wish list for years, just have not gotten around to it. So if you recommend, let me know, and let me know what shades you like. I'm still gonna keep thinking about it though, because I really don't need any new blushes or bronzers. But everything else performed really nicely. I really like how the overall look turned out. I'm pretty pleased with this. But I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of the makeup? What do you think of the look? I would love to hear what you're thinking down below. If you made it to the end of this video, why don't you leave some like warm emojis, just anything warm toned. Think oranges, warm browns, yellows, stuff like that. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me over on Instagram and BATTYBEAN there as well. And you can also subscribe. I'm posting most days over here. Also, if you want to, you can hop over to my second channel, linked in my description box if you want additional content. And also linked in my description box is a link to my channel memberships. There's a couple different tiers with a couple different perks, and I would love to have you. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep watching, I'll pop a similar one on the screen. Thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you in the next one.